Hey, what's up YouTube? Frosty Loopers here. I have a video with you explaining why I'm changing cars. A few people have asked me this. I'm always kind of doing the weird thing and playing with the Merc, just because I don't know, maybe I'm a hipster. But I want to explain some decision making that I'm doing in case you are watching this and have any questions. And a few other awesome things. So I recommend Merc to all new players. If you're just now starting the game, you're just trying to hit the ball, the Merc is great because it's the biggest freaking looking car. It's not the biggest car anymore. But when you're hitting the ball and the ball bounces off of your car, it's gonna look pretty intuitive off of the Merc. And it's gonna feel like, I don't know. I feel like it gives new players a little bit of placebo effect that because they're bigger, they have a better chance of hitting the car or hitting the ball, and it builds the confidence, builds their confidence. But you can kind of do that with any car. A lot of what I'm saying here, you can just call off as hokey or whatever, and that's fine. Do your own thing. But there's some method to my madness at least, so I'm going to explain it. The Merc, I played all the way until champ. Yay me, I got to champ. That's fun. I'm going to work on that. Probably lose before I get my champ rewards, let's be real. But I'm going to just work toward champ 2. That's the next step. That's how it goes. But I played with the Merc all the way from like Diamond 1, Diamond 2, all the way to champ. And prior to that, I had been playing the Dominus for a long time. I had done a little bit of Batmobile, a little bit of the car I'm going to change to. Spoilers. And I've played a lot of Octane too. Most people play with the Octane. That is that's the go-to. Most pros play with Octane. And when I mentioned the placebo effect before, I want to remind you that because you're seeing professionals playing with the Octane and most people playing with the Octane, you will start to kind of feel like a pro when you do really good in the Octane. But that's a placebo effect. Does that mean the Octane is the best car? No, not any more than the Merc being the best car or any other car being the best car. That's not a thing we're going to solve here today. But what's the best car for you, or why are you playing the car you're playing, should be something everyone should answer. And most people just play the Octane because everyone else is playing the Octane. So let's, you've probably, if you look, there's a lot of people online that have a lot of different opinions, different stories as to why certain cars are better than others or why the Octane is preferred. We can get into all that stuff. Yeah, let's just dive into some technical stuff here. Okay, so I'm going to summarize this information extremely fast or try to just hit the main points of everything. So most people use the Octane. The Octane is the tallest car, if as you can tell. That people generally put that in the rank of the Octane being better at bounce dribbles, power shots, challenges, just kind of in general. Because it is a taller car, it's able to have a little bit better control ground game, I guess. This is why I would put the Octane as the best car to learn the game with. It's a beginner car. And wow, that sounds awful. Everyone's using the Octane, even pros. But it makes sense for a beginner when most of their gameplay is on the ground and it is, down to, perfecting those touches. Having a taller car gives you more surface area to hit the ball with in a good way. And the only car second to that would be the hybrid. The next way to go would be to prioritize length. Length gives you more power to flick the ball over your opponent. One's players commonly will pick a breakout or a Batmobile very commonly because flicks are a very important game in ones or part of ones. Really, the hybrid, it's a pretty long car, gets that advantage as well. You see how it gets both ends of that advantage, and everything else kind of goes one way or the other. If you want the long paddle type car, Dominus, Plank, Breakout are all going to be fairly similar. How much of a pancake do you want? If you have less of a pancake, you start to get some of those Octane advantages back, and you're a little bit better with challenges and certain things. But ground game, I think that height is important, and so I would really only pick the Octane or the hybrid, which is why I'm leaning toward the hybrid as our option here. If I'm going to pick a car that's going to be the best long term playing the game into 2022, hybrid is what I want. I feel like people are going to eventually start gravitating from the Octane, realize that this is the hitbox that makes sense right now. It's going to be able to do everything I need it to do almost the best possible, which is kind of going to give me the most options going into every game to win. And that's the most winningest idea, I would think, right? What's the best car? I like all of these cars for different reasons, but they all have a drawback that the hybrid doesn't have that drawback, so I'm going to take it. That's where we're going to go. Of the hybrid cars, there's not too many of them. The hybrid, ground height and handling. Octane has the worst handling, by the way, and hybrid is slightly better, so we're going to give it... Hybrid's winning. Where was I at? Is there a list of cars here? Hybrid. So we got the Skyline, Endo, Esper, Jaeger, Venom, X-Devil, X-Devil Mark II. I pulled up... Yeah, the Venom is the one I think I'm going to go with. So here's your Octane, boys. This is why it's pretty nice for dribbling. It matches up with the height. There's a lot you can talk about here with like every one of these. It's pretty cool. But essentially what's happening is when I hit the ball, I hit it with this yellow box. I don't actually hit it with the hood of my car ever. I mean, same with the Octane. Like, really, you hit the ball here. And that's only intuitive because we've done it so many times, and it's kind of hard to see as you're flipping into the ball and it's going so fast that this is different. This is really small amount of distance in game, but it makes sense. And when we talk about how a car feels when we play it, that's what we're talking about, is little minute differences. Where, like, you see how this nose sticks way out further than the box actually is as compared to the X-Devil where it matches up almost perfectly. I should be able to more intuitively tell with the X-Devil where my shot is going, and arguably the X-Devil is going to be a more accurate car visually than the Skyline, which I think is kind of trash in like every respect, but it looks freaking awesome and I feel like a pro when I play it. So really the Skyline's not the worst thing in the world. There's a lot to consider with every hitbox style and what you're looking for, but essentially I got one box to choose from. How best I want to represent it, I have chosen the Venom. The reason I chose the Venom is because this curve here is very intuitive for dribbling. I can tell very easily where the center of my box is, and where the ends of my box is pretty well. And then this curve, I mean, it's not a perfect curve, I guess, whatever, but is very helpful with how I position underneath the ball and what I'm going to get. Very similarly, if I go back to Octane, I could pretty easily tell that too. I mean, it's similar curve. I mean, I guess you can see the spoiler and stuff, but it's a similar curve. I could tell where the center of my box was with the Octane. I could tell where the center was. I mean, you can do it with every car, I guess, but the more pronounced that curve, like the Octane, a little bit easier to tell visually. It matches up almost perfectly with the yellow box. You see that? That is not the same for every car as I'm scrolling through here. Like, this fits right inside of it. I can tell where it is going to be, and if you like, it's kind of important to note the wheel fits almost perfectly to the edges, so the corner of my car is my wheel. You cannot say that about every car, even though it's similar. Like, where's my Merc? Yeah, like, my wheel is not the corner at all of the hitbox, and you know, it's just different shaped cars is how you do things. But that is why we're choosing the Venom of the hybrid. We're picking the hybrid over the Octane, and of the hybrids, the Venom seems to be the most intuitive box. I think it looks kind of cool. I don't know. Not everybody will agree with me, but I think the Octane looks kind of cool. Or the wow, I'm already like mixing up all the cars. I've been doing this for too long, trying to make this concise and make sense. Hopefully you guys understood that. But I think the Venom long term is the best car to go from champ to grand champ, is essentially what I'm kind of looking at next. And what that sounds like from what I'm hearing is being super consistent and super concise and doing things perfect, this is going to be, I think, the best car for that. And that's why I'm picking this one. And y'all tell me where I'm wrong or where you would go differently. I'm interested to see, but I think the Octane is an immature choice just because there are other Octanes there. Doesn't mean it's the best car to get you there. Fight me, I guess. Love you. Comment, subscribe. Peace.